live. Today I have the honor of interviewing Paradime, a Detroit legend. He just released a new album and it is a banger. He has songs like Period, which is like the name of the lead single. Period is the name of the album, and it's a classic. You're gonna love it when you hear it if you haven't heard it already. He has other deeper songs such as Annie and September 22nd. We're gonna bring him in, talk about the new album.
What up, though, man? How you doing?
What up?
What up, man? What's happening, man?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for making the time. I know that you got a lot going on with this banging new album that you just dropped.
Yeah.
Wow. There was a period of time that, from your last album to this one, so you came incredibly correct, right? Like this new album, Period, has everything in it. Classic hip hop, the way that it sounded when I was growing up, but deeper songs that you can't write unless you've gone through things. Can you talk to us about your new album, Period?
Yeah, man. It's funny because I've been telling people, I wasn't planning on making a record. I was done. I put my focus on my family and taking care of some things that I didn't take care of for a long time.
Yeah.
But I never stopped making music.
So you were just talking about your album, right? And how that came about.
I was just saying, like, I stopped making music. I wasn't worried about it. Pardon me. I stopped putting out music, but I never stopped making it.
Right.
And the people that are close to me, my close friends, my homies, like, I always would share with them because that's who I make it for, really, is myself and them. But after people were hearing what I was making, they were like, dude, you got to put this out. You can't just like leave it sitting. So I did. And the cool thing is that when I was making music, like Period, there were no boundaries or barriers or worries to, like, you know what I mean? To be like, this might be too deep or this might be too heavy or whatever. I just made it because I make music. That's what I do for my life, So that's why the range goes like this. You know what I mean? There's like me spitting bars. There's me talking about my wife, me talking about my baby girl, me talking about things like that. So, it covers everything.
Yeah. So that means that there's probably a lot of songs that didn't make the album that are like sitting somewhere on a hard drive that are like, they didn't make the cut, but there's there's stuff out there.
Man, there's hard drives laying around here. Dudes that have known me for a long time. There was an album that was supposed to come out in like 2012, and it was huge. It was a giant. It could have been a double record, but at that point in my life, I was like, I don't have it in me, man. So there's tons of like B-sides and crazy stuff, but this was actually new. You know what I mean? This was actually stuff I created lately. This isn't old dumped out stuff. This is a new record.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of love in your new album, Period. It's vulnerable. Also, there's songs that when I was writing with you earlier, when I heard Annie, I actually cried. I'm a grown-ass man by myself. When my wife was here, I was in the studio crying. She was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "The song is absolutely beautiful," because I have two daughters, and the way that you express your love for your daughter, only a father could relate to that, and I was just blown away by that song. There's a beautiful music video for that. And there's a really, really dope music video for Period, right? Yeah. Which is the name of the album. And it's a real, kind of jazzy sounding piano riff, reminiscent to me of the Beat Nuts. I remember there's a track with Beat Nuts and Third Bass that has a riff like that I really enjoy. Man. Yeah. And you go hard on it. Where was that video shot?
It was actually shot. First off, shout out to my man Brandon Damon, the music video director, who's badass, and he did the majority of my visuals. He's a real dope video cat. But that video was shot at the Detroit City whiskey distillery. So like it was like mad like whiskey, barrels around, and it was a good feel. But yeah, it was that one. It was just for like I was like I don't even care about anything looking cool. Like this one, I just want to breathe on it. You know what I mean? Like Annie, I wanted to be it was exactly the way I pictured it, and and that's why that was the first video that he and I did together. And once he showed me that, I was like, bro, it's a wrap. Like, you're just doing every video from here on out. But because that was exactly what it was supposed to be. My man Hex Murder was like, man, I can't even, that's not a rap video, bro. You're riding a bike. You know what I mean? But it's real life. You know what I mean? It's me with my little girl. Oh, there's Brandon Damon's in here. What up, though, bro?
Shout out Brandon Damon. Dope video.
Yeah. So yeah, Period was just about me getting a couple of, I mean, not even a couple, but some Detroit hip hop staples in there. DJ Low.
Yeah, I saw Apollo Brown in there.
Apollo Brown, Ty Farris. I mean, Fats from Fat Killers, who's not even fat anymore. He's all healthy and strong. But it was just about Period was just about meet my reintroduction to the actual scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what that.
This is my skill level. Yeah. In case y'all forgot.
Yeah.
Here, this is where I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Before I tell you how much I love my wife and my daughter and how life is, let me remind you guys that I'll smack you in the face with the mic thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's dope. Yeah, no, it's a banger. It's a banger. And the really dope thing about that as an opening song, right, is the scratching. The DJ's on point too, right?
Yeah.
What DJ?
Now that's DJ Los, and DJ Los is a Detroit legend, man. I mean, he goes way back, and like I've always been a fan of DJ Premier and the way that the way that he would always cut hooks for Gangstar, for whoever he was doing it for, and Los has just got that ability. I mean, there's a lot of DJ like DJ AMF, DJ Marky P. I've worked with as my own DJs, as my stage DJs. Yeah. And when it came to this one, I was like, hey man, I haven't done anything with Los ever, and this is my plan is for this to be it. So let's rock on one together, and he killed it, man. So
yeah, he did. Yeah, he it's really dope. Like like you said, like Premier, the way DJ Los on that track uses the turntable as a percussive instrument.
Yeah,
right. It's an instrument. Yeah, perfectly. It's not just scratching, right? Yeah. He's actually using it as an instrument where how loud it gets and how he does the scratch, pairs up perfectly with the beat. Incredibly dope. Now you actually have worked as a DJ also.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, you name it.
Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean,
you're like basically,
Yeah, but I mean, like, as soon as I got around hip hop, like I just wanted to do everything. I was breakdancing and writing graffiti. I mean, way back, bro. So I was around turntables.
I've gone through all the elements myself, right? And they've all had their heyday. Yeah. Right now, rap music is kind of the big thing, but it used to be breaking and graffiti, right? And then the DJ used to be front and center, even though sometimes groups don't have DJs now. Right. But the DJ controlled the music.
Yeah, and actually did something. Like now, cats sit up there and press a button and like that's not DJing. You know what I mean? Like, I come from an era like you. Like I can recite every word of Beat Street, bro. And the DJ is an important part. Now, when I would perform live, I do it with a live band, but always with a DJ too. And the DJ's, like you said about Los, he's an instrumentalist. Like that's something that the DJ's doing other than just sitting up there and pressing play. Like that ain't DJing to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, so, I was always around turntable. I mean, there's turntables sitting right over here. Like I always around them. In 1996, a dude from my neighborhood, this dude, shout out Shannon Schuler, took me and my cousin and we went to the studio. He was like, we got to find you guys a studio to record. And this is, like I said, this is a long time ago. Yeah. And when we got in there, Kid Rock was sweeping the floors.
Wow.
And I was like, man, that's Kid Rock. So this is like way back, like he wasn't signed to Atlantic yet or any of that stuff. And in Detroit, we were like, my God, dog, that's like a star sighting, like, So when we talked to the cats from the studio, they brought us in and they're like, oh, it's a hip hop act. We'll play it for Bobby. And then they played my demos for him, and he was like, look, I'll work with these guys. So at that point, we became real close. He recorded an old demo album for a long time. and then I became real close friends with him and Uncle Cracker, who was his DJ at the time. Uncle Cracker ended up going solo, and Uncle Cracker and I talk every single day. I mean, that's one of my best friends. He's a great dude. But when he went solo in 2001, they called me and they're like, "Hey, man, you want to take over the turntables and have a job?" And I was actually on the Rap the Vote tour. It's funny you say about Beat Nuts. I was on the Rap the Vote tour for MTV with Beat Nuts.
Wow.
And Nonfiction, and we were in like Philly, and I was making like $35 a day. And
right.
Homeboy called me up like,
which
"You want to go gig?"
Which is still dope, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, dog. I was in, yeah. So so at that time I was like, absolutely. So from then till now, man, 22 years. Wow. I've been running the tables for him. Yeah. So
that's
it's
dope.
been a ride, bro.
Now, at that point in time, because you were primarily an MC at that point in time, right? That when you were on tour with the Rock the Vote, it was Paradime as a rapper, right?
Yeah.
A Detroit rapper, doing your thing. Then you get this opportunity, and a lot of people that have grown up hip hop have been around turntables. Everybody wants to scratch one, and you know what I'm saying. And so everybody's done that. Where was your skill level at, and how much did you grow? Because I'm sure going on tour, night after night after night, learning. What was that like for you?
That's literally what it was, because the main part of that job at the time was what I just said, is not DJing, right? It was making sure, like, I was triggering a lot of samples, a lot of backup vocals, a lot of hype man stuff, which was most important to the show at that time. But I did have I had a little bit of skill just from messing around in my cousin's basement, and but after that, like, you would spend your days on the road, and years on the road, and then I'm at a turntable all day, and I actually got all right, you know what I mean? So it went from me just hitting some buttons and backup vocals to being like, "Hey, bro, let me hit this scratch solo in this one," and then finally getting. So it's like, so now as far as the elements go, I got them covered. I don't think I could break dance like I could back in the day.
Be stiff the next day. Right. Even Crazy Legs said he's retiring.
Oh, well,
Crazy Legs is retiring. Crazy Legs is retiring, bro.
How could he not? Man, that's insane.
So that's cool. It probably was a tremendous added value for that show to have such a high level MC with dope vocal tone, to be able to hype up the show, you know what I'm saying, and add that ability that only a real MC could do.
It's true. And I'll tell you something, and not a very, like, almost a non-known fact, is Uncle Cracker, who is a country star now, is a dope MC.
Wow.
I'm not kidding you. Dope. But anyway, that was really important, and that was primarily the reason why I got the gig.
Yeah.
But then it did get, like, probably one of my, like, moments that was the craziest thing. We went on tour with Run from Run DMC, and I got to play all Jam Master Jay's records.
Wow.
I got to do the Run DMC cuts, and I got to do DMC's parts for all the Run DMC jams. So I got to do Rock Box and The Way It Is. Bro, I saved that set list. It's around here somewhere, but I've got the actual set list. Man, that was like, you talk about
what
an MC's dream, bro.
True.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow. So you would perform those parts, like you had, you guys like had there was the Kid Rock show.
Yeah.
But for the Run DMC part, you jump on them. Wow. Yeah. Would you be behind the turntable for that, or would you be on stage with them?
Stay up at the turntables and rock. We'd go back and forth. And Run was the best, man, because Run would be like, he's super animated.
Yeah.
Man, that was like, talk about bucket list, bro. As a hip hop cat.
That's Run. This is my motherfucking garden. You know what I'm saying? That's Run. Why I wore Adidas when I was a kid.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Yeah. So this album, which is a banger, period, the new album, right?
Thanks.
You've been pushing it hard. There's really dope, I guess, merchandise you've created, because there's T-shirts and all sorts of merch. There's the merch box. I think that it's almost sold out. Can you talk to us for the people that still want to get this, right, or to see this, what merch is still available?
So yeah, we did a dime box, we called it, that the record label put out, and it was like a rocks glass, a poster, a download card of the new album, and then a few of the old records, a limited edition T-shirt, and then a special version of the vinyl, and that's sold out and gone. And then we did with this other company called Truth Tellers Collective, we just did like a merch run of T-shirts, hats, and hoodies. T-shirts are gone, and there's some hoodies and hats left. Last I heard earlier this morning, they were like, man, they're about gone. So the link's in my bio if anybody wants it. But yeah, like that kind of stuff, man, has always been something that's important to me. Is I've always been about my merch game. Like this is Detroit, so you talk about Kid Rock, the other one. Yeah, the rap's Uncle Rico. But you talk about, like, you know, I watch those dudes from ICP, like, make millions off hockey jerseys and T-shirts, bro. Like, there's people that want to be, there's people that want to rock it, and, you know, you make it available, and if they want it, they get it. And, like, things are blowing my mind, bro. I'm not 20 years old out here rapping. None of this was a plan. None of this was supposed to happen. Like when I put out a record and I wake up and it's 22 on the hip hop charts on iTunes, my mind's blown. When we do a merch sale and the stuff's all gone, my mind's blown. So it's not planned. It's not something that I like schemed up to make. It's just like I'm providing a product and people are wanting it, and it makes me super happy, like super blessed and grateful, man. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, no, it's dope, and the music's incredible.
And that's
You're
what
dope.
matters,
The video,
right?
dope.
I mean, that's really what matters. You know.
Yeah. There's so, you know, let's get into the record a little bit. The intro opens up, right? Really cool with your son. That's with your son. The intro. Yeah. What a beautiful way to capture that moment. And basically, you know, you're like, let me show you. Let me. He's like asking like what it was like. And you're basically saying that rap used to be different. Really cool.
Yeah,
and then you jump into the record.
Yeah, like I kind of like, look, man, I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to be one of those MCs that sits there and shits on all the new music.
Right.
I frankly is not. A lot of it is just not my style. It just is.
Right.
I don't like it. I can't vibe with it. I don't listen to it. I can't. But hey, do you, right? But what I do listen to is either old or like the new Nas, or you know what I mean? Like I'm amazed by this generation of MC.
Right.
Like, because my favorite artists are still what up, Dope Pat? My favorite artists are still Guilty Simpson, Ty Farris, Marv Won, Detroit MCs, Quest McCody. Like we all came up in this same clique together from the same buildings, from St. Andrews Hall and the Rhythm Kitchen and the Hip Hop Shop, and I'm looking at those dudes like they're the greatest. And now when I listen to music, I still either put on Mobb Deep the Infamous or you know, like that's still what I listen to. I'm not saying anything against anything else, but man, what the fuck? Like I want to still listen to what I want to listen to. So if I make that, I'm sure there's other cats out here, which obviously from what I'm seeing right now, there's other cats that still want to knock the shit that we knock, right? And talk about our lives, talk about what's real. You know what I mean?
And you know, hip hop. One of the main things in hip hop was for it to be authentic. You can't copy. And how nice are you? Like how can you put words together in a certain way, rhyme patterns and words, using words that haven't been used yet, you know, street talk, slick talk, right? Like all of, you know, the gift, the gab. And how can you have rap music and the people can't rap, right? Like
hey man, that is the question, is it not? I mean, for real, that is the question, because motherfuckers can't rap, bro. And hey, look, again, do your thing, bro. Like, do your skinny little fucking thing. But when it comes to me, man, I like what I like. And I like punch you in the mouth, Detroit style hip hop. You know, hey, that's just what I vibe with. Hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to like. I don't like other stuff, but I don't, I'm not going to take my time messing with it either,
That's right. Yeah, no, I understand what you're talking about. So the album Period has some vulnerable songs. We talked about Annie. It literally had me in tears as a father, of two daughters. I was blown away by how you were able to express fatherhood, and your love and the love that a father has for a daughter. There's another song on there that's very vulnerable also called September 22nd. Yeah. Can you talk to us about that song?
Yeah, man. I basically, I'm an alcoholic. I have been for a long time. And most of my music up until this point has been every single song. You don't even have to look real hard. I'm talking about blues and everything. I could have been doing a song about my daughter. If it was 10 years ago, I'd be like, I love to drink while I babysit you or something, whatever the fuck I'd say. But it got to a point where it wasn't, it was getting ugly, and it wasn't, like I say, things are starting to sound the same, like even musically. I got to the point where, like, when I was younger, I think, we'd go in a studio and let's get sideways and make some songs. And then the next day I'd be like, shit, I got to go back and redo all that. Like, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And now, like, there's people in my life. First off, like, there's artists that I respect, Royce and Eminem, that are sober.
Yeah.
My closest friend, Ern, is sober.
Yeah.
So I started to see people that I respect and look up to, and that, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like, it's not, so my wife and I both were like, we're done. And, but it's not easy. And so I thought the best way to describe it was to kind of write, like a Dear John letter to booze.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. And it's, shout out to Charlie Beans, who produced that song. He sent me some tracks, and for years he's been like, man, I'm sending you tracks and you don't like anything. I'm real picky about. But this one,
you hear it in the album. You can hear it in the album. It's an incredibly well produced album.
Yeah, man. There was, I'll come back to September 22nd. But as far as production goes, I mean, man, I couldn't pick a more solid cast of characters to work with. Like, I just mentioned Charlie Beans, Wayne Gerard, who's like a legendary jazz guitarist and a musician. So like, this wasn't just you send me beats, I'll rap over them and we'll master it.
Yeah.
This was curated music, like Make My Way, for example, the very last song on the record.
Yeah.
There's a song by Harry Chapin. It's a 70s song. It's like my mom and dad's love song to each other. And it's always been a dope joint to me. It's just dope.
Yeah.
And it's about how when you grow old, you don't get to do all the shit you want to do, because you got to take care of who you got to take care of. You got to take care of your family, right? And so when I was writing that song, I was like, man, I had a beat from somebody, and I was writing this idea to that, and I was like, man, I could rhyme over this. And I called my boy Wayne Gerard up, and I was like, bro, can you recreate this shit?
Yeah.
And he was like, what? Like, he was like, wait. Like, I sent him the joint. He's like, are you sure this is the one?
Right.
And I was like, yeah.
Right.
But like, that's the kind of stuff that was put into this record. It wasn't just you give me a beat and I'll rap and I'll send you the raps back and you cut, fuck all that. No, man. This was like, this is musically a record. You know what I mean? I didn't look at this like a rapper. I look at this like, this is the last time I'm going to put something out. Here it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, September 22nd, it's a deep, heavy song. It's definitely one of my favorite songs on the record. It's like artistically sweet to me, the way that it was done to write. Because if you listen to it first, you're like, oh, it's a breakup song. Dude just was talking about how great his wife was.
Well, that's what was happening to me. I had to listen to it like 3 times.
Like, it takes a second, but then when you realize, and it says, like, as soon as I say the word stone cold, like, it's been, because you say stone cold sober. So I think, like, the word stone cold, I wanted to make sure it was also that you could figure it out. You know what I mean? So, like, I use like to say down the drain, like it was 20 plus years down the drain. Yeah. Well, and then like I love the part about, like, used to hold my hand when I get on planes, because I didn't like to fly. So I at the airport.
Yeah.
So it was just like a way of.
We've all done that. You know what I'm saying? We've all done that. For sure. That's why the bars open at 8 a.m. in airports.
Right. And don't close till they close, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's a real heavy joint, but I'm proud of that one too, man. There's a lot of stuff on here. Like, my favorites go back and forth, but It's cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on being sober. And
Here's the deal. Here's the real. Let's be real. I'm not anymore. Like I fell completely off the wagon. So it's a constant. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's something that I fight with. I mean, I am now for a few days again, but it's like this is a struggle that I go through, and that's what. Isn't this what hip hop is, right? Like, let's tell the fucking truth.
Yes,
man. People tell the fucking truth.
Yeah. So. And what I loved about hip hop, and what I've gotten from so many people, that hip hop has had such an impact on their life, are the stories. And the stories are gritty.
Yeah.
The stories are, like what you were just saying, like, I needed to make some changes in my life. I fixed this. And then, I fell off the wagon. And then now I'm getting back on the wagon. And it's that getting back up part that is real hip hop, right? Because you hear it about people growing in the projects, about people growing up with no dad, about people growing up with no money, about, these stories make you tougher and give you a resilience as the listener, because you hear other people struggle and how they've overcome. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're doing.
And to that note, like, so this is what's funny. So if you listen to my early records, that's me being me. So that is me talking. I'm broke. I'm fat. I'm drunk. I'm eating pizza. I'm fighting all the time.
Yeah.
That was just life, right? Well, now I'm the same cat. I just figured a lot of things out.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So that's as real as it gets, man. Like, if we can talk about whatever we want to talk about, but when we get to speaking about bars, we'll talk some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what bars are about. That's what about being an MC is. But when it comes down to songs and talking about life, then I'm going to talk about my life.
Yeah. It's really dope. And what's really cool about the album is, like when you flip it over and you're like on the lawn with a cup of coffee, like watering the grass. You know what I'm saying? It's like
so
perfect.
Dope to me, man. I don't care. That shit's so dope to me, bro.
Yeah, it's the dopest. It's so dope, and it's so real, because we're kind of in that place right now where, we talked about it earlier, how you've got like people who grew up hip hop, and when people within a certain older age demographic were growing up hip hop, we didn't know it would become what it became. You just loved it. Just kind of like comic books. People just love comic books. We didn't know Marvel would be owned by Disney, right? We didn't know that all the major record labels would need to have a major hip hop stable. Hip hop was just some underground stuff. And, people related to it. And that generation of people, it's harder for them to relate to the auto-tune, fingernails painted, people who cannot rap that are doing rap music, and they're kind of singing on auto-tunes. You're like, dude, you don't got bars. No. You're copying old songs. You're not even trying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what's cool about the back of the vinyl or the back of the album cover is kind of like, it seems, like you've gone through some stuff, and like, you don't want to mess with that dude. That dude knows life and has gone through things, and he's part of that old school. You know what I mean?
That picture says so many things. It says it's like the dude that's been relocated in the witness protection program.
Yeah.
There's nobody in. This is a beautiful little neighborhood I got now, man. I'm quite blessed. I worked real hard for a long time to get to where I am. You know what I mean? I had some real shady, real dark, real broke times in my life.
Yeah.
But and motherfuckers around here don't know. You know what I mean? They don't know some of the things that I've seen and done and been through, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like that picture to me says, here I am watering my lawn with a coffee, but this record inside is going to tell you everything that's up here. You know what I mean? And but I think that picture is just fucking hard, man.
It's a hard picture.
It says so much to me. Yeah.
It says, don't step on this lawn.
Yeah.
This song was earned.
Get off my lawn.
I'm out here watering it.
Yeah.
It's everything. Yeah. The witness protection program analogy is perfect. Yeah. It seems like some like New Jersey crime family relocated, out somewhere in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So
from Cornell Kennels out here to the sticks, man.
That's right. That's
dope. Right, Pat.
That's dope. So the album, you know, the lead single on the album is called Period.
Yeah.
Period is what comes at the end of a sentence.
Right.
Is this the last album? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole point, because I wasn't going to do anything now. And it was just like, you know, it's my focuses are so different now. You know, I'm on a different plane, and like, this is crazy, man. This is, like I said earlier, this is cool and unexpected and was not meant to be.
Yeah.
So, I will never ever stop making music.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. As far as Paradime putting out more records, I don't see that happening. But also, I didn't see this happen.
Right. Yeah. No problem. That happens to me sometimes too. So that adds like an added urgency to limited drop merchandise, vinyl, t-shirts, right? Like, this actually may be the last time you get a chance to get some of this merchandise, because this is, you know, you didn't think this album would come out, so you never know.
You sound like, right? I wrote this script for you. Like I paid you.
The perfect setup.
Yeah, you're great. Yeah, right. Jeez. All right. Yeah. Keep going. Don't let me
so we got the link right here.
Explain to the people. Tell them they should order now. Yeah.
But for real, this is like super. This is super limited.
Yeah.
Right. Like the merchandise, the vinyl, everything. This is it. This is the Detroit legend, the Liquor Store Shakespeare's potentially last outing, you know, as a solo MC releasing his music. That's the thought right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
That's the thought. That's the thought. I mean, I got, you know, this family and a lot of other things going on, man. And as of right now, like, this is great. And like I said, it's been fun already so far. And
yeah,
what else comes through this, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, my plan is just like Mellow Music Group. It is like my man Richie just said, like Mellow Music Group was
yeah.
When they came at me, I was like, bro, done deal. Like, because they're just such a organic. Like based on the music, you know what I mean? Their love for the music is so evident, and it's not like a money thing, but they're just doing everything right. They're doing like when I got on the phone with Mike from Mellow Music Group and we explained the process, I was like, look, dude, if I'm doing this, I want vinyl, I want posters, I want things done right. I want it to be like 1996. You know what I mean? I want it to be done like in the right vein of the way music is done. So and they did. They handled things properly, and that's what I cared about. And so when I saw the love was there, and then he hit me up and he's like, this song, and he's quoting bars to me. And same thing you said about Annie. He's like, man, I'm driving around in my Jeep listening to Annie. My mind's like, that's like, okay, I belong here. This is the spot. Let's go, you know?
Yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope. They did a great job too. All the merch is right. The rollout has been professionally done. They're pros, and they put together a really good package for this whole project. You know, there's another song that I want to make. And the album's incredible. It's got great featurings, Copywrite, Guilty Simpson, right? A lot of other cats. But I wanted to ask you about one song, Heart on Tape, right? Can you talk to me about that's such a beautiful song.
Yeah, man, that's like you talk about, you know, like when I said earlier, like stuff I would have normally, like I've written songs about my wife. I got a bunch of them. Like that's just like some of my favorite hip hop songs, like the two Nori ones from the first Nori album, like Love My Life, and can't even think of what the other one is, but like they're about like his life and like shit, like, and like Jay-Z Song Cry and songs like that always got to me. Or like a couple of the common like love songs, you know what I mean? Like that's just, you know. But when I was doing this record, I was like, I wish I could just write her a love song, like the way that cats do, like I say in the record, like John Legend or whatever. I can't sing like that. But I was like, damn, what a dope concept to explain that to her, and say, man, I wish I could write you a love song. I can't, because I chose, this is my life. You know what I mean? I chose, this is the way that I would present music. But Again, I mentioned Wayne Gerard. Same thing, man. I was like,
Yeah.
I've got this idea, and I called Wayne and I explained to him an idea, and man, I mean, guitar solos and it's a song. That's my whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can spit with the best of them. Always have been able to. I'm not gonna whatever. It is what it is. That's what I do. But when it comes to this, I wanted to like give something special and real, because it's not like back in the days you used to say, we got to make a radio song.
Yeah.
We got to make one for the ladies, one for the club, or
right.
You know what I mean? You got to do that street single. All that shit's off the table now. Like you make music. You need to make music because you're making music, and make the music you want to make because you're making music. Period.
Yeah.
So this was one of those things where I was like, I don't know. And to me, it's crazy beautiful. It's really cool, really different. And every time I played in a room full of cats that I admire. So the first time I played the record for Apollo Brown, did a couple listening sessions here in the city with cats that I admire as MCs, street cats, cats that I used to, bump elbows with it at St. Andrews, that we used to, scrap with, like my guys, right?
Yeah.
When I first played it, I was waiting for people to be like, Todd, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you were thinking they wanted to boom bap.
Yeah, and I give it. That's what's great about this record. But when it got to this, it still was like, man, I love this. It's important to me, but I'm unsure how people are going to feel about it. But not one time. Wow. Not one time. And I'm sure cats will be nice, but the ones that'll tell me the truth will tell me the truth. And not one of those cats, and there's a lot of them, not one of those cats said anything else but wow. Like, man. So yeah, that's a special one. That's a special one.
Yeah,
and we're shooting a video for that right now too. We're gonna get a video for that done too. So
is that the next video?
Yeah, I think we got a couple more. Me and Brandon Damon got to get back in the lab, but we got a couple.
Cool. What's your video process like? Now you're working with him. You've done 2 videos with him, right? Yeah. Annie and Period, right? The lead single. As a MC, you put together songs. You either get a beat and write to it, or you find a sample and a whole concept and work with a producer to develop the entire track.
Right.
But with the video, you have different types of MCs, right? And the different types of directors and videographers. Sometimes they have a whole vision and they run with it. Sometimes the artist has a vision and, they kind of bring that to the director. What's your video process
like? Man, both of those things that you just said. Yeah. Like, there's been a couple of times where I'm like, hey man, I got this idea. There's been some times that he's got an idea. There's been times we like Annie, for example, is just like, like, let's just spend the day with my daughter and let's shoot it. Like, and that's why he's so dope, is the way he put it together. And Period was just like, look, man, let's just pick a spot, set up some turntables and go rap. Like, what I mean? Nothing to it. Nothing. Hard on Tape will be heavier. You know what I mean? This will be more of a production, but I won't divulge what we're talking about yet. But I mean, as far as videos go, man, it's just like, I don't know. That's why there's cats that do videos. I mean, that's why cats that do that. So yeah. Hey man, just I got a bouncing 5. Speaking of Annie's got to go to bed.
That's dope. Absolutely. I want to make sure that we get to plug things that you have coming up, right? So we talked about the merch, right? You have limited merch still available. They can buy that merch at the link in your bio.
Yep, link in my bio. Same thing. The pre-orders for the vinyl are still there. The record's out on any, your download service providers or streaming services. There's some other stuff that we're going to announce closer to New Year.
Okay.
That's still kind of in the works. So yeah, there's more. I mean, I'm going to keep working this record for a minute, man. This won't be a quick thing. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of songs in this record that deserve videos, that deserve releases. And I got no problem going through this whole motherfucker with the camera and shooting everything. I don't care, man. I'm here now, so let's make it happen type thing.
Yeah, that's super dope. Now, you're accustomed to being on the road, right? You've made a career of touring, on being on big stages, right? As big as it gets, basically. For this album, for Paradime, as a solo artist, is there going to be a tour with this project?
Not a tour, for sure. No. But there's like the the amount of requests and basically begging I'm getting to do like a release party in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's starting to break me down a little bit, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I do love performing. It wasn't something that I was going to do at all, but it's something that's, you know, getting worked on. But it's, you know, I gotta figure out. I could only do it if it was done completely right. That's the way that I kind of do things. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to some of that shit. So it's like, it would have to be at a place that
artist. You're an artist.
It would have to be done
a certain way.
Right. So, yeah, man, we'll see.
That's super dope, man. I want to commend you on an incredible project that you've put together. I hope to see more videos. I would love to hear about the Detroit release, you know, and probably some more dates. You know, everybody, they'd come through for you. You and Guilty Simpson and get Copywrite and get Carl Royce and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was one thing that I always was very well known for in this city. You know what I mean? Like I can hold, you know, I don't want to sound arrogant, but there's some things that I think is okay for me to be arrogant about. And I think my live show is one of those things. So it's hard for me to not, but it's just, it would have to be put together properly. So I'm, like I said, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
One of the homies here in the chat just said, if this is the farewell album, you got to have the farewell show.
See, now, come on. Now. How can you fight stuff like that? Right? Yeah.
My bro, congratulations on an amazing project.
Thank you, man.
You know, and I'll be following it. And you know, you've heard the public, right? We want more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so keep rocking it, keep pushing this album, and I commend you, my bro.
Hey, man, I really appreciate the time, man. I appreciate anybody who wants to talk about the music, man. It makes me feel good, and I'm glad that you appreciate it. I'm glad everybody's appreciating it. Like, from the bottom of my heart, it really means a lot, man. It's dope for me to see people loving the record like they are. It's, like I said, my mind's blown, man. It's crazy. So thank you.
Dope record. All right, my brother.
All right, my guy. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for everybody for tuning in, whatever, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Peace, my bro. I appreciate you.
Peace.